Hello, everyone. Author DL Tillery here, the Mistress of Horror, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, but you press that subscribe button and ring that bell so you know when I'm uploading new videos. Welcome to the first day of the Howl and Haunts and Autumn Werewolf Challenge. In this video, I'm going to list off the prompts that are involved in the Howl and Haunts Werewolf Challenge and the books and things that I'm doing for each prompt. As well, at the end, I will give some recommendations that you could use for this challenge, just in case you're at a loss. If you want to check out all the rules and the prompts read off to you individual, then you can look at my announcement video for the Howl and Haunts Werewolf Challenge, which I will link below for you to get to at any time. Also in the description box, each prompt will also be there for you, just in case you need to copy and paste it anywhere or take it down for yourself if you're joining us for this challenge. Before we jump into what I'll be reading for each prompt, I am the creator of this Howl and Haunts and Autumn Werewolf Challenge with two other co-hosts, Aphrodite Lee and Edie Lewis. I want to thank them for joining me for this first year of the Howl and Haunts and Autumn Werewolf Challenge. It's going to be pretty fun. If you do decide to join us in doing this, just be sure to put a hashtag Howl and Haunts or a hashtag Howl and Haunts a werewolf challenge. You can put either one. I'll leave the hashtags in the description box just in case, but I'll find you. But try to tag me if you're making a video on YouTube about it, so that way I can add your video to our playlist. The other host of this challenge should be putting a video up today as well. If they don't, look for their video in the coming week and check the playlist, because I will be adding their video to that playlist so you can have no problem finding it. And if you're not subscribed to their channels, please do so. They are also tagged below as the co-host so you can find them. All right, let's jump into the books that I'll be reading for this challenge for November, and some maybe a backup book that I might do in some place of some of them, and also again recommendations at the end of this. All right, so I'm going to be looking off here just to make sure I have my titles, the authors correct, because I always like to give the authors along with the titles. So bear with me if I'm not directly looking at you. I'm trying to read some things here to the side. So prompt one is cinematic howls. Watch a werewolf movie, classical, modern, share your thoughts. So I'm going to be watching you may have heard of it, the Werewolves horror film that came out in 2024. So it's just called Werewolves. That one's very interesting because it is kind of like a werewolf outbreak, kind of similar to like zombies, but not zombified werewolves or anything of the sort. What happens is that our planet is getting the supermoon, and in human DNA, we all find out that we can become werewolves. So if anyone gets in the rays of the moonlight of the supermoon, then or see it, they turn into a really terrible werewolf. So they're breaking out all over the place, killing people. It's very crazy. It's such a good movie. It has the guy in it from The Purge starring in this movie. So I really enjoyed it. I have seen it once before, so I'm going to watch it again for this. Plus, I'll probably pop in a few other werewolf films. I really like following werewolf lore, so I might do some classics for this prompt. Maybe on some of the Howling series. Teen Wolf's always a classic, and there's plenty of other werewolf titles. I came across another one recently where a mother is trying to keep her son's secret of being a werewolf. I can't really remember the title of that one, but I'll share it if I do end up watching it for this prompt. But there's a lot to watch out there. So I'll also put some recommendations for this prompt at the end if you don't know which werewolf films you want to watch and you need some help on that. All right, on to prompt number two, the Moonlit Romance. Moonlit Romance, I'm going to be reading so far, planning to reading Claimed by the Alpha, which is by J. Raven Wild. And I'll put, of course, the pictures up here on the screen as I'm talking about them. That one is for like romance based. The prompt reads, Moonlit Romance, reading a book or story featuring a werewolf love story. So that one is why I picked that book. There are so many for that. But the thing about this challenge too is trying to find actual novels and stories with actual werewolves. Now, they have very subtly kind of slim and, skimmed on the term werewolf. To be clear, shifters are not actually werewolves. They, again, have kind of skimmed on that over time and categorized them in werewolves. When werewolves used to be, and still technically are, when they are demonically possessed, more or less. When you are in the setting where the werewolf is 10 feet tall, they stand on hind legs. They are very humanoid-esque, meaning they are standing like a man. They are hulking, usually in size, and very viciously in the face, very wolf head style looking beasts. They're a beast. So and when they go and slide into a shifter, meaning a human that once was human, shifting into a wolf, that's a shifter, and specifically a wolf shifter because they shift into a wolf. There are other things that they fall under and classify as werewolves, such as a wolf man. Again, a wolf man is also still different than a standardized werewolf. They are a class almost on their own. And then you have like the Lucalay. You have the big wolves that are look like wolves, but they're extremely much larger than actual wolves would be. Think along the lines of what she used in Twilight, Stephanie Myers. That wasn't a werewolf either. But again, in writing, they tend to use it loosely, just a term blanketed for, shifter wolves. Anything that's a wolf base, they try to throw under that camp and umbrella, but I'm still kind of like, not really. Now, like, yeah, this is going off a subject, not really, because I'm trying to talk about the prompts, but just pointing out a lot of the books are going to be hard to find if you're looking for direct werewolves, the beast of the werewolf. It's going to be a little hard, so you will have to be a little loose on that for this challenge, only because it's difficult to find the stories based around the type style prompts that they are, and just finding those stories in general where the writer wrote about actual werewolves. So even in some of these books that I picked, there are shifters or they're whatever they call them, werewolves, in the descriptions. So it's hard pressed to find ones that are actually werewolf beasts. So that being said, that's what I'm reading for the second prompt, which is a romance prompt, more or less. Some of the books I picked are going to be, some of them are going to be romance as well, but they fit the other portions of the prompts. Moving on, for prompt number 3, Howl in the Dark, I'm going to be reading Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. And that one, it has a romance element to it as well, but this particular prompt is pick up paranormal book where werewolves must battle the dark forces of other monsters, such as vampires, witches, or even demons. So this particular one, Wolf Gone Wild, is the witch dynamic with werewolf. So that's why I picked this one. So I'm looking forward to reading it. The books that I have chosen, I have not read any of these. So I am excited to read some new authors I haven't read, and of course, some werewolf fiction. And then for prompt number 4, Monsters Among Us. That one is read a story where werewolves are hiding in plain sight among humans in a spooky small town or autumn setting. For that prompt, I picked The Carpenter's Secret by Noah Harris. And that one seemed quite fitting for this prompt. If you want to check out more about this book or any of these books that I show here, then be sure to click the links in my description box, because I will be putting a link to each one of these books if you want to read more about them or their blurbs. And then for prompt number 5, Lycanthropic Lines. Read a werewolf-themed poem or create one yourself. Explore the beauty, terror, or mystery of the wolf in verse. So I'm going to, of course, write a poem for this particular prompt because I'm a poet and I have written werewolf poetry before. I actually wrote one or two in the build up to this announcement video that I did about a week ago now. So I'll be definitely creating a poem. You can, of course, look into some werewolf poetry. There are plenty ones. I have a few on my channels in video form, if that makes it easier for you. And then on to prompt number 6, Fall of the Pack. Explore a book where werewolves face challenges that threaten their pack dynamics, betrayal, leadership struggles, or rogue wolf causing chaos. And for this number 6, I am going to be reading The Mating by Nikki Charles. And that one actually has the political aspects of a pack and things like that in it. Again, I have not read from this author, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. And some of these books are chunky and some are not. So I'm glad I have a mixture here because if they were all chunky, I'll be pressed to finish all these. And this challenge isn't the easiest challenge because it's 10 prompts and we have 4 weeks because we have all of November. Not to mention, of course, November near the end, people who celebrate Thanksgiving, it might actually, conflict for that last week. So some people may have only 3 weeks to mess with it. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so I have all 4 weeks to do this. So I look like I might have to press some of these books into like 2 a week, which in my time is so pressed. So I'm going to do my best with this. But again, like I said, if you don't finish all the prompts, that's not a big deal. It's pretty laid back. It's just for fun and to get werewolves on the tongue. So on prompt number 7, Forbidden Forest, choose a book where werewolf stories unfold in a haunted forest, cursed woods, or a similar eerie outdoor location. So for 7, I picked The Wolf King, a fantasy romance by Lauren Hilferman. So I felt I liked the cover for this book, and I saw that through there, and then I was doing a search for. So I took the prompt and I put it in a search to see what books have this element or these elements, and this is the one I decided to go with. This one is kind of chunky, if I recall. I think it's like late 400s to 500 pages. So, and that's ebook form. So, man, if it was a paperback, oh boy. All right. So, prompt number 8, Paranormal Predators. Let's read a werewolf-focused paranormal thriller or horror story that emphasizes the terrifying nature of the wolf and its predatory instincts. I was going to go with The Werewolf of Grayson Abbey by M. Christopher Moreland. And I had this one saved for a little bit actually in my Kindle. And I've been interested in reading it for a while. So I'm finally going to be able to jump into this one. And I'm starting today because obviously like it's a good amount of books to try to fit into the whole entire month, really. So I'm kind of glad that prompt 1 and the last prompt are not book reading based. Prompt number 9, Autumn Legends. Discover a book inspired by werewolf myths or folklore, especially those connected to harvest festivals or Halloween legends. And for that one, I have 2 books that could work. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to mention both here. The first one that I thought about doing was Howl of the Hunted by J.T. Payton. And that one I may go with first, but I'm also interested in Werewolf Full Moon Harvest by Ethan Blackwood. So I'm tied between these 2, so I don't know for sure which one I want to read. If I had time, I would do both, but I really doubt that. So I may do one or the other. So, but I'll let you know once when I do my wrap-up video, you'll find out. Then the last prompt is actually an art-based one. It's called Artistic Transformation. This one is create a piece of werewolf-inspired art. This could be a mood board, digital or traditional art, a colored page from a werewolf coloring book or even a themed craft project. So I think I'm going to go with making a mood board based off of my werewolves from Cagliostro mythos. They're called Lycrans, and they're the actual werewolf beast style of werewolves. And I'm going to do a mood board for them. So I'll do some, depicted what they look like on there, and just some aesthetic parts and wording and things like that. And I may also do maybe one of the characters who's a Lycran from my story, and do like a mood board specifically for that Lycran character. So that's what I have planned for this challenge. And now it's time for some recommendations. So let me just go through some of the ones that I had thought about reading and ones that I can recommend to you. Let me pull up my list for werewolf movies. All right, so for recommendations for prompt 1, which is to watch the werewolf film, rather old classic or modern, there's quite a few, and I'm sure plenty of these you would know. Of course, American Werewolf from London, that's always a cult classic favorite for people. The werewolves are pretty cool on there, the level of which they made them and things like that. So I did actually enjoy it, but it's still not like my top, but it's a classic, cult classic that everyone knows and you can always go to. Ginger Snaps is another one. It came around in about 2000. That one is about two sisters who kind of get the werewolf curse. It's no good. But it's a good werewolf story. The Howling, of course, as I mentioned, I probably look watching the Howling series, and you got the first one from 1981. And Dog Soldiers, which I always recommend. Dog Soldiers, that came around about 2002. That's a really good one. Of course, any of the underworlds, because they have werewolves in that. That's Werewolves versus Vampires, which is also pretty cool. And then the current one that I'm going to be looking at, Werewolves in 2024, that one is definitely a recommendation because I do like that one a lot. And of course, Wolfman with Benicio del Toro. I like Benicio del Toro's version of Wolfman. I thought that one was pretty decent. I hear that they're doing another remake yet again, so that's interesting. So for that one, that's a pretty good list that you could go to. There's plenty of other films clearly for werewolves. Those are just some of the ones that I recommend that I did enjoy myself. Okay, so let's see. Book recommendations. I have a list here of some that could work for you. Wolf Song by T.J. Coolin, and another one is A Hunger Like No Other by Creshley Cole. Moon Cold by Patricia Briggs. And Wolf Girl by Leah Stone. Wolf Moon by Charles DeLint. And Frostbitten by Kaylee Armstrong. So I'm going to recommend one more. Full Moon Rising by Kira Arthur. That's some ideas for you what to read, some recommendations to try, and see if you like any of those. Let me know how you plan to spend the Werewolf Challenge, if you are reading along with us or not. I hope you are, and don't forget to make sure you hashtag Howl and Haunts or Howl and Haunts Werewolf Challenge, so I can know when you're up to doing the challenge, and tag my YouTube channel here if you're going to do a YouTube video so that I can put you in the playlist. So anyway, happy Halloween weekend, happy November and fall season, and I hope you have fun with this challenge. I'm sure me and my co-host certainly will. Tag someone if you would like, because it's just lots of fun to be had all around. Stay scared.